there's a quote by a guy named Carl Jung, and it says, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." And you can put a who there. I am who I choose to become. And I love this quote. I love this statement. And you hear it in so many ways from other motivational speakers, pastors, leaders, entrepreneurs, whoever is succeeding. We have who are succeeding. We've heard it in some form or fashion. But I love what that states there, because no matter what happened yesterday, no matter what happened an hour ago, no matter what happened years ago in the past, that doesn't have to fully define you. As long as I got to a place where, as long as I'm breathing, as long as I'm in my right mind, I have a mind to think for myself and make decisions for myself, then I am capable of growing and getting better. Man, if you're an athlete, I used to be an athlete, a performer. I was in the arts. I did sports. And it's like when you're training for a competition or a game, just because we lose one or anything, it doesn't define our whole career per se, because we know, okay, if I get to compete again, if I get to play again, if I get to perform again, I know I still have a chance. And that's how I look at life now. It's like I look at it with a new excitement, if you will. Yes, there are some days where I still battle with sadness, or like contemplation, where I'm like thinking about, oh, what I could have done this at this time. I should have did this. Or I went this way. There's sometimes I'm still getting, what I would say, interrogated by family over decisions and things of that nature. And I just have to always regroup. I just regroup myself, listening to music, reading, listening to lectures, propping up myself with affirmations, if you will. I know not one thing will do it until I get up and do something, and until I get up and change. If I don't like what I see, I have to change what I do. And that goes the same for you. So every time you come on my page, every time you see Darnaya Darice name, I want you to be inspired. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be motivated. But I also want you to say, hey, I learned something today. I'm fired up today. I know what's the next step for me to do. Now, what I also love, if you ever have read, or even if you haven't read it yet, go check out Atomic Habits by James Clear. I love this book. I've been reading it really for the first time. But there's so many little nuggets that he's thrown in there. And listen, no, this information isn't new, right? Each author presents information that has been said before in some sense, and whatever new findings we have and understandings we put in the work. But you don't really have to necessarily, you can get the idea of the book just by reading the first few chapters. You should be ready to go. But on page 38, it's under a topic that he has. He's going over a two-step process to changing your identity. It's on page 38, and this is 38. I'm looking at it from the PDF version, so if you have a different copy, just you can check that page though. But on this particular section, I'm going to read a bit of it, but he says, new identities require new evidence. Let me read that again. New identities require new evidence. How do we get new evidence? Well, you're going to have to feed yourself new information. You're going to have to update what you know, right? Just like your phone, our phones need updating, our computers, our TVs, all the electronics we have need updating, our appliances, we need updating too. We cannot continue to operate off of old information or off of old tired energy. We have to continue to rewire ourselves if we want to be great. And I hope your goal in life is to be great, is to improve, is to gain financial not just stability and security, but financial wealth and generational wealth that you can pass on to your kids if you have it, or that you can leave a legacy behind. You're going to hear a lot of times people say, oh, you can't take things with you. You can't take money with you. You can't take the house with you. Yes, but you can leave it for those who are living after you. Whatever I have, whatever I build, once I'm out of this world, guess what? I have 4 children I can pass that down to. We have children that have to live in this world, that have to succeed and survive in this world, and have to be successful in this world. It is our duty to make it a better place. No matter how small, how little, everyone is a contributor of something. You may not see it. You may not be thinking about anyone else but yourself, or you may not be thinking about anyone else but your immediate family. But you are a contributor of something. And me personally, and even my husband, we want to be a global contributor, make a global impact to help improve this world, because I don't want to leave it the same way that that's been presented to me. I want to leave it a better place for my children. But I love that new identities require new evidence. I hope, man, just that is like, hey, let's get to work. We got so much work to do. You know, you're not going to be happy with yourself until you start making new decisions. But in order to make new and better decisions for ourselves, what do we have to do? We have to feed ourselves with new information. We have to feed it and adjust our mindset. We got to get new inspiration, new motivation. We got to get a better understanding of things. He goes on to say, if you keep casting the same votes you've always cast, you're going to get the same results you always had. I mean, come on now. And you've heard this. It's not new information. You know, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same results. It's called insanity, folks. That means that some of us been living insanely. We've been living in insanity, and we need to get it together. Coach Prime, I don't know if you watch sports, but primetime Deion Sanders just won a game this past week against UCF, Colorado UCF. But one of the things he said when he was giving his speech to gear up for the game, if you don't like what you're seeing, you have to change what you're doing. If you don't like what you're seeing, you have to change what you're doing. So just to give you some insight, some of the things I'm working on or have been working on is my self-discipline, or the small habits. You know, even if it's 15 minutes here, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes of walking, 15 minutes of reading when I can, in between work, if I'm on breaks or lunch, studying, looking at lectures, or even spending time with my children. It's like building small habits that makes me better. And you have to do the same, right? James Clear goes on to say, if nothing changes, nothing is going to change. And we see this and if you just look at the world, look at those around you, look at your state, look at the state of the country, look at other people. Are they growing? If they're not changing, nothing is going to change. And he gives us 2 simple step process. Number 1, decide the type of person you want to be. And number 2, prove it to yourself with small wins. Number 1, again, decide the type of person you want to be. And number 2, prove it to yourself with small wins. And that's something I'm like, hey, nobody can take away from my husband and I. No one can, as many people that want to talk, that's know me or is related to me, nobody can take away my micro wins. Lisa Nichols call it micro wins. Don't know if you follow her, but she does everything and talk about abundance a lot, and living and fulfilling your abundance and getting your abundance. But she talk about micro wins, whatever you want to call it, small wins, micro wins. Prove it to yourself. Do you understand? If you graduated college like I did, that's a micro win. If you successfully applied to X amount of jobs and you skilled up, got an additional certificate, whatever it is, to get to that next level, to get to that next promotion, and got a pay increase, that's a micro win. Do you understand? If you paid off a certain debt, that's a micro win. You're disciplining yourself, and that's what it takes. He suggests first you need to decide who do you want to be. I know for me, it's like I want to be an educator. I always wanted to be an educator. I want to lead. I want to train. I want to be an example that is not always seen in the light in all areas of my life, right? And in order to do that, I have to continue to decide who I am, feed myself new evidence, feed myself new information, not get stuck. So who do you want to be? This holds at any level, as an individual, as a team, as a community, as a nation. What do you stand for? What are your principles and values? Who do you wish to become?